After getting trolled by Marvel for over an hour, the Fantastic Four First Steps trailer has finally dropped. What's going on? I'm Joe, and we're gonna break down the Fantastic Four First Steps trailer right here. We first see Reed Richards and Sue Richards walking into the Baxter Building with someone that we don't know who it is. But the Baxter Building is the home base of the Fantastic Four and has been ever since the beginning in the comics. With the Fantastic Four being known as Marvel's first family, we're going to see the theme of family in this trailer a lot, and that gets alluded to in the first few seconds of this trailer, where Reed is explaining that everyone comes home on Sunday for family dinner at 7 p.m. sharp. Then we get our first introduction to Herbie and the Thing. Herbie is a robot that first appeared in Fantastic Four issue 209 and was created by Reed Richards in his quest to find Galactus, who does make an appearance in this trailer, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. And we get our first look at Ben Grimm, aka the Thing, who was the pilot that took the spaceship of the Fantastic Four out into space, and a longtime friend of Reed Richards. I know a lot of people were worried how the Thing might look in this movie, and I gotta say, he looks absolutely fantastic, with no pun intended. But I also love in this beginning section where Herbie is making a sauce, I love that they're playing up Ebon's other character, Richie from The Bear, helping Herbie make the sauce just a little bit better. We then break into a long montage where we hear Reed and Sue talking basically about everyone's powers. Reed mentions that Sue turned invisible, which then Sue rebuttals later in the trailer that even though that she turned invisible, that she's always going to be there for everyone. And I don't know about you, but Sue is honestly the most badass character in the whole Fantastic Four team. Then Reed mentions that Ben turned into a pile of rocks. Then it cuts to Ben in a trench coat and a hat, which we see him wear a lot in the initial comics because he's ashamed of how he looks. And we can see that portrayed in the trailer as he's watching himself, what he used to consider a very good-looking man and a pilot, who is now just a pile of rocks, and everyone is ashamed and or scared of him. And so we see him in this trailer as well as in the comics hiding his face a lot when he's out in public. But then later in the trailer, Sue rebuttals that Ben has always been a rock, again leaning into the family aspect of the Fantastic Four, which a lot of people would consider that Ben Grimm is the heart and soul of the Fantastic Four team. Then Reed mentions Sue's little brother, Johnny, who can flame on, and basically Sue's rebuttal is just Johnny is Johnny, and he is your stereotypical little brother knucklehead that has always been portrayed like that in the comics, and it looks to be the same in this movie. Then we get some sort of explosion, which we have no idea where that came from, but we obviously see some little kids who are looking at this, and they're all wearing the Thing masks, which goes to show that the Fantastic Four eventually get some fame and notoriety, because initially when they were portrayed in the comics, no one really knew who they were and if they were actually real or not. That has obviously also made its way into this movie as well. We then get a glimpse of Johnny flying around, as well as Ben running towards something. Again, we don't know exactly what, but it looks dope. We then get a very quick glimpse of John Malkovich, and I don't think his character has been confirmed, but based on the way that he looks to be Ivan Kragoff, aka the Red Ghost. Ivan Kragoff first appeared in Fantastic Four issue 13 and is basically a Russian scientist who had trained a bunch of monkeys and gorillas and apes to follow his commands. And basically his goal was to take those monkeys and himself into space in a spaceship and not shield the ship so that they could get hit with the cosmic rays just like the Fantastic Four, but fully immersed in them so that they could get the same powers, and if not stronger powers than the Fantastic Four, to finally defeat them. Then we get a silhouette and a quick glimpse at the back of Galactus's head, who is ultimately going to be the big bad in this movie and potentially future movies depending on how they play his role in this film. Galactus made his first appearance in Fantastic Four issue 48 and has probably one of the most famous arcs, with issues 48 through 50 being known as the Galactus trilogy. I'll talk about that a little bit more later, so hang on tight. The trailer basically ends with Sue saying that we're going to take on everything as a family, and ends with the Fantastic Four on display with this amazing choir musical score at the end, just summing everything up nicely. Overall, I think the trailer was great. We got a glimpse of pretty much everything, including everyone's powers, with the exception of Reed Richards. The musical score was excellent. It was kind of very calming, but also chilling at the same time. I don't know how else to explain it. And again, we got a glimpse of the villains that we're going to see in this movie, including quite possibly the Red Ghost and Galactus, who again first appeared in issues 48 through 50. And if you want to learn more about him, you can go ahead and check this video out right here. Otherwise, I am pumped for this film. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Do that YouTube thing, hit the like and subscribe, and until the next video, Excelsior.